Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here. This is yet another exclusive video that you will not find on any other platform like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, not my website, nothing. Like, you are only going to find these exclusive videos here, and I'm just so happy that I get to connect with you here, that I get to answer questions you have. One question that I got today and that I actually get often is, do you talk to porn stars about Jesus? You know, if any of you have been following me for some time, you know that I quit the porn industry about 10 years ago and I have given my life to Jesus. And part of our ministry that my husband and I have is that we help industry workers that want to get out of the business, and we help them to transition so that they can have so that they can cross over that bridge, right? Because so many industry workers, you think like, man, who's ever gonna hire me? Like, is anybody ever gonna love me? You know, I've done so much stuff that, like, how's anybody gonna see me for me and not just see me as a porn star or an ex-porn star? And so, because I've crossed that bridge and I've married an awesome man of God who he never even watched porn or anything like that. So it's like, I am living proof that you can transform your life. I did it because of God. God transformed my life. And so I like to help women who want help. So that's the key words right there. I help women who want help. I get so many messages on Instagram like, you need to reach out to this porn star because da-da-da-da-da-da, like whatever reason, or you need to talk to this porn star and you need to do this and you need to do that. And so many people, they come at me like, you have to do this, right? But I don't do that. I don't force myself upon anybody that doesn't want help. And let me tell you why. When I was in the porn industry, there was a woman who was who used to be in porn that started seeking God, and she would come on and, it was MySpace back in the day, and message all of us and you shouldn't be doing porn. Don't you know what it's doing to you? And, I always, when I saw her, I always because I wasn't ready to receive the message of truth and grace, and she didn't really come off in the most graceful manner. She was very condemning and very religious, but I used to think this chick's a hater, right? She wishes she could still do porn. That's where I was in my life, right? And so I'm not gonna reach out to people, to women that I don't know, unless if they're on their social media saying oh, I'm thinking about committing suicide, or, I'm going through really bad depression, I will slip into their DMs, right? But if it's just somebody that's they're not saying they have any sort of brokenness or, and maybe they do, but they're just not talking about it, then if I go into their DMs or message them and I say, hey, I used to be a porn star, but I've given my life to Jesus, they're going to be like, so what, you weirdo? Trust me, I know how their minds work because I used to be there, right? So you have to wait for your opportunity. You have to pray that God opens the doors to talk to the women. You have to pray for divine connections, because have you ever had it where maybe somebody comes up to you and they offer you unsolicited advice? And you're like, great. First off, you don't know me, okay? So why do you think that I'm going to listen to you? It's all these prideful kind of things come up, but it's how we are as human beings. It's how we're wired. We naturally put up walls because, we don't, a lot of people just have trust issues. We don't just trust any stranger that wants to come into our life and offer us advice because of, we've been broken and hurt by people. And so in order to go and talk to somebody about Jesus in a way in which they'll receive, you have to have an open door, right? And so oftentimes that comes through relationship. So do I talk to porn stars about Jesus? Yes. When they want help, or if we have a relationship. I have friendships with women. I was on a phone call the other day with a woman who recently quit porn. She's still kind of involved in the work, but not shooting scenes anymore. We had a 2-hour conversation, and most of the conversation was me sharing about God, about Jesus. I have another woman that just moved across the United States to go back home, and she's doing awesome. I helped her transition out of porn, and she goes to church, and she's a follower of Christ now. Another woman that I was just talking to about a week ago or so, and we had her on our podcast, Aaliyah Shea. Like, I talked to her about Jesus. I have another woman that's still in the industry that's doing things, and I talked to her about Jesus. And then people will say, well, like, you talk to them about Jesus, like, why are they still in the business? Like, people, like, they're so critical and they're so judgmental, and they think that the timing has to be like that. Let me tell you something. When I first met Jesus, I had just quit the porn industry, and I gave my life to the Lord, and then I went back to porn for another 3 years. So it took, after meeting Jesus for the first time, it took about 3 to 3.5 years before I finally surrendered my life to the Lord. It doesn't happen overnight. And people want to, the reason why most people will run from religious people or stuff like that is because they try to force God on them. Like, God doesn't even force himself on us. God is so loving and so patient that he'll walk with us through our mess, through our sin, and he'll be there with us and for us. And he doesn't run away from us, but he's there waiting for us to say, God, I can't do this on my own anymore. Like, I really need you. And so that's the approach that I take. I take the heart of the Father. The approach that God took with me is the same approach that I take with other people. So do I talk to porn stars about Jesus? Yes, I do. Do I talk to every porn star about Jesus? Not all the time, but they always know what I'm about. Because if you go on my social media, my Instagram, all of that, you can clearly see that I love the Lord, and you can clearly see that that's what I am about. So hope that answers your question, and I really hope that it maybe sets somebody free from, if there's somebody that's like forcing God upon you, or if you're forcing God on somebody, I hope that you'll stop. And if somebody is forcing God upon you, I hope that you recognize that that's not his heart to force himself upon you, but he does love you so much that he will pursue you. Okay, if you guys have any other questions, I just want to be an open book within reason as much as possible with you guys. So please feel free to submit your questions to me, and maybe your question will be answered in my next video.